Winner bracket final. So we had some pretty epic matches already in the winner bracket. Now we are in the final best of 3 series, and the winner of this match will advance to the playoffs directly. We got Team Copium against the Cats. Now there's a couple of things that we need to talk about here. One of them being why exactly Nano is playing on both teams. But let's address some of the tournament points first. Now, first of all, heroes can only be played once within a series, meaning that every single hero that you see on map number 1 cannot be played in the rest of the series anymore. Same is true for map number 3, and in best of 5 matches, of course, also map number 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Now, that already forces teams to think a little bit outside of the box, but it's more so that people are not just watching Blaze against the Haka or whatnot on every single map. We have a bounty system on the other hand, so this tournament has actually 2 prize pools. One prize pool is like the normal prize pool, it's 1,000 euros, and teams will fight for it as they progress through the bracket, and the top teams share that prize money. And then we have the bounty pool, which is actually crowdfunded, as I said. There's a link in the description if you want to help out and support the tournament directly. There's also a link to the bounties in case you're unfamiliar with the system. But just to give you guys a bit of an idea, so that bounty pool is essentially also 1,000 euros is what the target here is. These are the bounties, and the way that this works is that these are basically quests that the teams can complete as they're going through those games. Per map, they can complete 1 bounty. Each team can complete all of the bounties that you can see here. If you complete a bounty, you get a point. If you fail a bounty, if you don't win with one of those, you get half a point. At the end of the tournament, all of the bounties are getting counted up. We're seeing how many were completed in total, how many each team completed, and then you get a share out of that second prize pool depending on how well you did, how many you completed compared to others. So it's actually a pretty cool system as an optional tool and incentive for the players to just try stuff and have a little bit, you know, of a risk-reward calculation, whether they think they can get away with playing certain heroes and win with them and also dip into that bounty pool, or if instead they just feel, we should probably not do that, let's just come in and only focus on winning the games themselves. So that's kind of the whole idea behind this. We'll see if bounties are getting used here. Group A, we had some teams that went on to a bounty hunt every single game that they played, but Group B, we've seen pretty much both. A lot of teams are very hesitant to use bounties when they were up against a strong opponent. Again, these are all handicaps at the end of the day. But now we get, for example, on Towers of Doom, Vikings locked in right away. This could be a longbolt bounty if they wanted to. Another thing that we have to talk about is that we have Nano on both sides. This was a little bit of a confusing thing at the beginning of the group, because what's happening here is that basically the Nano on the side of the Cats is not actually Nano, that's Taichessa. And he uses the account of Nano. That's why we had like Nano on both sides. He jumped from one team to the other. Now he's using a second account of Nano. Doesn't have the heroes. I don't really know what exactly is going on here. This has been the thing in the past as well, occasionally. But it has caused some confusion because the real Nano is playing a lot with the Cats as well. But in this case, real Nano is playing with Team Copium. A little bit confusing. I know, it's just what it is, but in case you missed the earlier games where I talked about this right now, just a bit of a note, we'll probably address this later on when we're going through the games, and specifically also through the heroes which are being played at the beginning of each map. Bans on Medivh now. Yeah, Medivh has played a pretty big role in a lot of games, and I think we're going to see more Medivh bans as the tournament progresses. The Cats have already completed the Cho'Gall bounty, but they are one of the few teams where I could actually see them pick Cho'Gall at some point, just simply because they think it's going to be their best choice to win the game. We'll see. But the bounty has already been completed by them. Here comes Stitches, and we get Falstad for the isolation play after Gorge, but also a little bit of a missed opportunity because Stitches and Alexstrasza would have given you a bounty attempt. That said, they already are Vikings, so if they want to go for longboard, hey, they could. But Brightwing, obviously, with another Poly, also fantastic. I called it, by the way, right at the beginning when the map was chosen, that Stitches is likely going to appear here. Masquerade has been playing the hero a lot in the past on this map, and he's doing it again now. Zeratul and Mirrodin, so definitely not going to be any kind of bounties for the Cats. They just want to win this one. Whichever team wins this series goes straight to the playoffs, so obviously they're super interested to make sure that they're now jumping into the playoffs right away and don't have to go through the losers bracket anymore. And then worst case scenario, getting eliminated there as well and have to drop into the last chance qualifier, which is always a huge gamble. Now we get the real Nano with Cassia, and that sets us up for game number 1. Towers of Doom, ladies and gentlemen. The Cats against Team Copium. Off we go, game number 1. On the left side, in blue, Banana Age on Brightwing for Team Copium. We got Nano, the real Nano, on Cassia. Sadath on the Lost Vikings. It's going to be interesting. Lopaka on Falstad. Masquerade with Stitches. Dropping into Hungry for More, but not going for the Alexstrasza bounty. Missed opportunity. On the right side, Captain Rex for the Cats with Stukov. We got Erath on Muradin. Maitri is playing Blaze. Drakier with the auto attack Vala. And Taichessa playing the account, the second Nano account on Zeratul. So again, quick reminder, this is not the real Nano. Now, we have stacks not only for Stitches, but also for Cassia, who went that's a hook. Straight into a Thunderstroke. But yeah, quick hook against Muradin. Didn't Lauber though. Still alive. But again, the game is young. There's still another 30 seconds. Enough time to easily Lauber. Vikings don't count that. Unless you lose all 3 of them, I suppose then we're making an exception. But Zeratul is going to start focusing on not only some Viking hunting, but can later on then also attempt to target Falstad in particular. The birdie is going to be very high up on the list. And topside, yeah, already some Zeratul hunting going on. And team, that's a kill. Zeratul is gone. Nicely done. That's first blood right there. And he Laubert before the 1 minute mark. So, yep, there we go. Oh, God. There's a lot of Laubering going on here today. But that's 10 stacks now for Vala, and they're looking, okay, not for another kill, but at least to apply some additional pressure here. Vikings, obviously, when they're played on Towers of Doom, a lot is really the utility around altars that we're talking about when the teams are trying to get their fun in. But right now, what we are essentially getting is, of course, the camps targeted first, so teams are slowly going to make their move over towards those pumpkin camps. Maybe we're even seeing a bit of an invade. It's noteworthy that the red team, at least for the time being, has decided that they're not going for their own... actually, my bad. Sorry, they already took it. I didn't even catch that. They were way faster. I just looked at the blue team and was like, alright, red team seems to be trying to invade here, but nope, they went for it right away. We're apparently positioned when it spawned and took it immediately. So, yep, I'll take it back. Now, we got level 4 kicking in. Muradin is already signaling that he's going to go for, well, with Thunderburn. He's going for Healing Static, and there's another kill against the red team. Not a great start for the Cats. For Team Copium, this is actually quite nice, because now they are in a spot where they have elite experience. They have applied pressure at the bottom of the map and are taking the wall out. That's not too bad. Get a hook! Yep, that's the problem when you're playing Stukov against Stitches. Once you hit a lurking arm, if he sees you, if he sees it coming and he sees the wind-up animation, then he can instantly land that hook and you are doomed, depending on where you position yourself. Now, triple altar is coming up. Bit of an advantage again for the blue team, but nothing too crazy, nothing insane here. So we'll see. And, well, let's see what we can actually pull off here. For now, the altars are about hitting the Stormbolt full on the minion. Vala in trouble, and she's dead. That is attack speed gone. This is not going well for the Cats. They are getting a counter kill at least. So this one was a little bit better. One of the altars already channeled. Vikings still interrupting, at least for a short period of time. The rest of the team is fighting at the bottom of the map. Eric gets eliminated. Quick channel from Blaze, but down here, Muradin had to jump out as 4 more shots get fired and lock in on the red team. Quick reminder as well, if you're currently watching this on YouTube, there are links in the description that you should check out. First, the crowdfunding, but also the bounties are all listed there in case you need to refresh your memory on what exactly is generally available for the teams. As we have the Cats finally making a few plays and getting some kills in, it was about time. Also, if you watch this on YouTube, hit that like button. Helps to spread the videos a little bit more. There's plenty of people that apparently get Heroes of the Storm videos recommended in their timeline again on their home screen. So if you want to help with that, spread the love a little bit further, then hit that like button and sub to the channel if you haven't done so. Did the Cats starting to gain a little bit more ground here. They are closing the gap in experience. Zeratul, again, is Viking hunting whenever he can, but he also needs to be very careful because this double global setup that we have with Falstad and with Right Wing is starting to threaten him a little bit. So, yeah, that's a bit of an annoying thing here for him. So, has to be careful on this. Top side, again, it just continues. Falstad can easily move in, Right Wing jumps on him, you have the poly going on, that's some easy damage, and currently Taichessa here is completely alone. And that's obviously not really good. Like, that's a number disadvantage, and Zeratul actually dies. Was a bit too aggressive here, but the counter kill at the bottom of the map comes through, so at least they're trading kills. At least it's a kill for a kill. Quick Stormbolt, jet propulsion, and yeah, stun regardless, no matter how you look at it. And that is the bot lane. Bell Tower probably eliminated. They are trying at the top lane, but this is not nearly going as well for them here. So, yeah, that's bad news. Shots fired. Level 10 is ready. And with that, we have both teams on heroic abilities. And there is no bounty in this game. Nope. The Vikings had an opportunity to go for the longboat. They decided against it. So they're going again for meta. We're having them straight up with a level 10, going in with a play again. As Gorge comes in for the first time, Storeball connects too. They're trying to save Blaze. Bunkers up, dodges the gust as a result. Gets still body blocked for a second. And then it is Cassia with the Valkyrie. But all their efforts are for naught. They're not able to do anything with it. And instead are now just losing out on a couple of cooldowns. But we're, of course, hoping to get some kills in the momentum. Good news for Masquerade, that's nice stacking on his level 1. He's sitting at 18 stacks for Stitches, which means that he's closing in on 500 additional HP and the movement speed that he's going to get in one more globe. So not too bad there. The blue team is trying to recover the bottom bell tower. So far it's been shut down, but they will get it eventually. Yeah. Stitches doesn't have the extended hook range yet. That's going to kick in on level 13, of course. But we have also nice stacks for Cassia. I mean, she's sitting at 42 now. That's super solid. So for Cassia, quite nice. Results in her rocking 18,000 damage as top damage in the game. Surpasses Vala by quite the margin, actually. But now that they've retaken the bell tower, they've still suffered some damage here in the middle. The second bell tower is already dropped a bit low. No Gorge here. Immediately the turnaround attempt. So, didn't want to go for Gorge in this case. Vala has died only once, so 5% of the attack speed bonus is gone. And now the exchange, top left, top right. No surprises here. 4 shots fired by each team. Again, this is one of the objective rotations, by the way, that I hate with a passion of 1,000 burning suns. I think this double objective, top left, top right, should just be removed. I think it's just flat out stupid. Make it a triple objective, make it a double at the bottom, in the middle. I don't really care. But top left, top right is just a waste of time. In 99.9%, it's just an exchange between the two teams and nothing else. And yeah, there's just... Objectives are supposed to get people, to get teams into the map and force conflict, and that one just doesn't do that whatsoever. Muradin, he's taken out. 5 kills to 5 here. So level 13 talents are now ready. The stacks slowly for Stitches, for Cassia, for Vala coming in. So playing this out quite nicely. Brightwing, by the way, has gone for Emerald Wind. So we've seen it in action obviously already, but still worthy to point out once again. This is something that you can oftentimes also use with Stitches when you go for Gorge. You can Gust with Falstad, you can use the Emerald Wind to just create some space between the targeted hero and the rest of his team, so make sure that no help is coming. With now the hook extension for Stitches, we will see those hooks also be a lot more threatening to the cats. So they gotta be super careful here. Rotation of the altars now at the bottom. This is a proper one. Now we have them in the middle, you know, you actually see some conflict around them. So this one is way better, but yeah, they could really get rid of that top left, top right situation. I think that one does enough. Now, talking about not doing a whole lot, they're getting tons of damage on Stitches, and it still feels like it's not doing enough, but he dies eventually. But boy, did they have to unleash everything that they had. Now, with him gone, that obviously means immediately that the fight, at least for the bottom altar, is over. So they're going to channel this one with ease. For a second, I was wondering if maybe they're going to go for an altar channel, for a bell tower conversion, but nope. So 4 shots fired, they get the second altar as well. That puts the blue team down to 19 points on the core. And honestly, the momentum is really swinging in favor of the Cats here, because now they're going for the bell tower conversion at the bottom of the map. Falstad is getting aggressive at the top, but will also be attacked in a moment. Nice dodge though. Yep, that was a good one. Opaga is still in a bit of trouble, but will get out. They're trying to bait also Zeratul a bit in, I suppose. But the rest of the team is something that they not necessarily had on their agenda. Nice Gorge, by the way. Yeah, he's dead. Try to come in sneakily from the side, and then Stitch is like, yummy. Comes in, gobbles up Stukov, and that's an easy kill for them. 6 kills to 6. So at least on the kill count, it is pretty even. Not so much, though, when we are looking at core points currently. But late game is everything here. One good late game hook and a little bit momentum. Good stacks on Stitches to make him more unkillable, and on Cassia for more damage, and all of a sudden you gain the momentum in the late game that you really need in order to turn the series around and win the game. 16 talents for both of them in a moment, but while the bell tower at the bottom left gets taken, they just decide that they're going to go for 4 more shots fired thanks to the boss. So easy exchange. One team reclaims the bell tower and the other team makes a move for the boss, takes another 5 shots. Yeah, and so far so good. Now, it's 4 bell towers to 4. Triple altar phase is up. I mean, technically, we can't quite see them win yet, but this could actually result in Team Corpion dropping into the single digits. So, yeah, time will tell.
Be swift, heroes.
Zeratul was trying for more. Well, he was thinking about it, but yeah, they can't do it. The hook! That one was mega telegraphed right now. They're trying to stop it. There's the Emerald Wind, and I guess Stukov is alive for now, but here comes Olaf with a stun, and that's that. They get the stun connected. Each team has gotten a bell tower, so an altar at the top, left, top, right, and down here, I guess the blue team is going to lock in this one. Huge problem to lose Stukov in the way that they did, and honestly, that hook, I mean, they sent a snail mail to notify them about that hook. So, yeah, bell tower conversion in the middle, one at the bottom right. So each team takes one and can then, I suppose, reclaim them in a second. But this was a little bit shocking that that hook actually connected with them. So, at the top lane, they can still hunt a few Vikings, I guess. But they also, more importantly, want that mercenary camp. And it's only the blue team that is slowly making a move towards that bell tower with at least a few of the Vikings. There's a lead in experience. Camp has already been taken, so nothing they can do about that. Stukov is now sitting down at the bottom of the map, riding his little shark into battle. But it's an interesting first game that we have between them. We've had so many 3 members in Group B. It's actually ridiculous. I wouldn't be shocked if this one would be another one. Falstad is, funnily enough, the only one that hasn't died yet for the blue team. It's kind of interesting when you're thinking about who he's facing off against. Specifically Zeratul here. Nice chain against Blaze, and he gets away without using his ult. They are about to take down that bell tower, but they're not quite there yet. And here comes the hook and the gorge. It's again Stukov. I mean, at this point it becomes a little bit ridiculous, to tell you the truth. Stukov might survive a little bit longer here, and does. And now all of a sudden the damage turns on Stitches. But they take Stukov out after all, and well, Stitches falls as well, so they're trading kills again. Banana H also low. Keep in mind, does not have a blink heal, can't get out of here, and dies. The fruit fly is gone. What looked like a great start into the battle for the blue team because of the hook that we saw is all of a sudden turning into unmitigated disaster. At least they got, yes, they get Vala too. Falstad is dead as well, though. It's an absolute bloodbath that we're seeing here. It's ridiculous. The Vikings are slowly dying, and this could honestly be the beginning of the end. It would be if more heroes were alive. So they get the shots fired. They can maybe take a few camps. Single digits now on the core of the blue team with only 7 shots. But level 20 is already there for Copium. They just don't have anybody on the map right now. We get the Speedy Dragon for Brightwing, which in and of itself is hilarious. You're not a dragon. You're a shitty fruit fly and nobody likes you. You're getting slapped around and eliminated. So, yeah, you're not a dragon. You can hallucinate all the way that you want there. It's a little bit like Chromie. She's not a dragon either. Not a real dragon. Look at Alexstrasza. That's a dragon. Deathwing, dragon. Brightwing, no dragon. Chromie, also no dragon. So, yeah, it's actually not that difficult. But, again, 10 kills to 10. Dead even on levels, on kills. But 7 points to 20. That's the situation that we're in right now. 37,000 damage for Cassia, 33,000 for Zeratul. And they're retaking their bell tower at the top right. So now we're going to be back to 4 bell towers to 4. But we gotta rotate down to the bottom of the map quickly, or this one is lost. So we gotta be super careful that they're not losing this one. Which so far works out. Olaf for that stun. Again, he's the one that they're gonna try and take down whenever they can. Once that you have large and in charge, it's just such a fantastic tool in teamfights. Don't really want to give this up. Vala's now at 120 stacks. Has the range increase, obviously, with Farflight Quiver. Stitches is not going to be happy about that. He's at 15% additional movement speed now. And 1,000 extra hit points. So, Stitches, again, with 41 stacks on his level 1, that's pretty solid. It's a good movement speed. Whenever he gets Gorge, he's going to get out there real quickly. More importantly, the 1,000 extra hit points are fantastic. Box for Devour. Hard to take him out. So he's going to be that monster up at the front. Vikings get a bit murdered. The hook misses again. Play again. They go for Muradin. He still has Avatar. Should be fine. And the Poli was just too strong on the damage output. Alright, that was pretty impressive. That was actually very, very impressive. One hook and then they blow Muradin up. That's, by the way, for all of the people that are like, no, don't focus the tank. You can blow tanks up very, very quickly if you're playing in a coordinated environment. As you could just see there. It was beautiful. And yet no chance to even get his Avatar out or anything. And even if in this case he has to use Avatar, he's low, he will have to fall back and can't participate in the fight for quite a bit anymore. But there's momentum now for Team Copium. Yeah, they were with the back to the wall. And now they have the momentum and they're taking the bell tower at the bottom of the map. 11 kills to 11. Boss is up. They could try for another bell tower too, of course. So let's see where they're getting with this. I mean, right now you could easily go for boss. That's 4 more shots fired. It's 7 to 16. And they're already all centered around it. For now it's a trap. They're not committing to it. So it seems like they're just attempting to trap this one. And now they're finally making an actual play for it. Yeah, I mean, it's sniffed out, but it's a bit late. Can't do anything about it. 40,000 damage for Cassia. 36,000 damage for Zeratul. 4 shots fired, dropping them down to 12 points. And down at the bottom of the map, yep, there's the attack. So we have the bell tower reclaimed. But there's still a couple of pumpkins pushing through. That in itself is not really a problem. I mean, that's 3 shots fired. It would drop them down into single digits, so you want to avoid it where you can. But the real big thing is now the orders at the top. This could just be an easy exchange between the two teams again, unless one of them thinks that they can make a quick move. And that's, of course, where Vikings for interrupts become important. You channel your own and you can interrupt the opponent and then fight for it. Fantastic. Or just getting a good angle from Stitches. And getting that monster hook against Sukov again. Vikings are already channeling, so they're easily going to claim that. And the fight is centering around the right. Blaze gets attacked, and they're trying again. There's already the isolation, and off we go. Quick kills. Blaze is gone, and this is an absolute disaster for the red team. They looked so good in this, and now they're again down a hero. This Emerald Wind play that we're seeing time and time again from Brightwing and the damage that follows shortly after is just way too much for them to handle, and they are massively struggling here. So now they're down to 4 points on the core, which means that the boss or another Ultra is going to finish this one easily. And there's pressure. There's lots of pressure on the Cats. They were ahead the entire time, and now they are dropping behind, and massively at that. 54 stacks also for Masquerade. He is getting dangerously close to 20% additional movement speed. And of course, in total, 2,000 additional hit points. Ah, sorry, 1,500. Would be jumping ahead just a little bit. But he's a monster now. He's super difficult to kill. Even Vala with Manticore is gonna have her troubles there. And here comes the next hook. And they're gonna try again. Brightwing already. Boom, Emerald Wind. Full isolation. Rup, dead. Time and time again, they repeat that pattern. There's just nothing that you can do. Emerald Wind completely stunning them out here. And guys, I think this is the end. This is game. This has to be game right there. They're taking the bell towers now. The next one is going to spawn at the bottom of the map. They got full control here. And every single time that Stitches lands a hook, the target just dies. It doesn't even matter who they are targeting. Blaze has no chance on survival. Neither has Stukov. I mean, Muradin dies within seconds. He has no shot. None whatsoever. So that's 14 kills, 212. And with 2 heroes down, the Shrine, the Altar, it spawns in 20 seconds. They're going to make a move there. If this is a kill, then it's just lights out. He's bunkering up, but again, this should be... Oh, well, actually, Brightwing is gone. And Falstad might be in trouble too. Zeratul wants the kill. Can he get it? And indeed he can. Might try, wants to get away here, gets slammed into the ground as Zeratul looks for the kill, can't quite gets it against Cassia. Zeratul is gonna fall, but that might not matter. No, the shots are fired from the pumpkins. They're down to a single point. The pumpkins made it through. Single point on the core. 3 versus Stitches. Vala gets caught though, gets killed. Now they channel, and it's game regardless. Holy hell. Team Copium with the victory in game number 1. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Map number 2, Garden of Terror. So, they got a little bit hectic towards the end. I got real hectic. And Team Copium came out ahead. So they went for the big comeback. And the Cats, despite the big lead that they had on core points, just lost control. Some hooks just too strong. But I gotta say that it really felt for just a moment like the Cats are back. When Zeratul went on his massive killing spree, that was pretty sweet. But Vala kinda got caught. She had to fight into this at the bottom to get the interrupt on the opponent's channel, and then she gets caught in the corner and killed too, and they don't have anybody that can get there in time. Great job by Team Copium. Just what it is. Awesome comeback. But yeah, quite interesting development there. It's kind of funny to me that Cho'Gall gets banned. I talked about this previously, obviously. This is one of those things where Cho'Gall, the bounty has been completed for the Cats. They have completed this one already. But they're still known as a team that likes to play Cho'Gall, and Copium just bans Cho'Gall anyways. Like, yeah, we don't want to deal with this. No, thank you. Now, we haven't seen a single bounty attempt in this series yet. We'll see if one of the teams is leaning a little bit more towards it now. Maybe for Team Copium, they're willing to pull something off. I mean, maybe, you know, Nidus Zagara or something. I mean, this is Garden of Terror. It's a pretty big map. So, could try and do that. It's just so interesting. I mean, I talked about this before, but it's so interesting to me to see that we have teams that just go bounty no matter what. No matter where they are, they're down a map, lower bracket, they don't care. Bounty attempt, time and time again. And then there's a couple of other teams that are just mega hesitant around them and don't want to risk anything and are just way more interested in fighting for the tournament victory. And the easiest way to get there, to get to the playoffs, to the grand final, and don't want to deal with bounties all that much. So it is pretty amusing. Hogger is the first pick on Garden of Terror, never a bad choice. Tons of mercenary camps, more than on any other map. He has the clear to get them quickly. But the blue team. Lille Bleu. Rega and Anubarak. Okay, Masquerade gets his Anubarak back out again. And we have Rega for a little bit more added clear speed on the mercenary camps whenever they're gonna go for them. Quick Lightning Shield can help out for sure. Reminder, the 10 heroes that were played on the previous map cannot be played again. So we get Sylvanas and we get Lucio. Every single time I see Sylvanas and Lucio, I also want to see Greymane. Sylvanas, Greymane, Lucio, when you just run around opponents is awesome. It's super fun when they're getting picked. Doesn't really happen all that often. But when it happens and you have a team that just runs around the opponent the entire time and is able to take structures down, it's kind of fun. If you don't see them coming, you're losing a lot. Maiev gets banned. Okay, so that's the final ban for Team Copium in our match point. Whoever loses here drops down into the lower bracket and still has a chance, of course, to make it straight into the playoffs. But, yep, the teams would love nothing more than to go there straight away. Now, we've had tons of 3-mappers in Group B already. Are we going to see another one? Is the red team able to bring this game back? Now, with Anubarak diving in, they ban Hanzo. It's actually reminding me quite a bit of the comp that was played. I believe it was on Dragonshire. I mean, obviously, all of the teams have already played a couple of series in this group, and most teams have scouted those out a bit, taken some notes, and just seen, okay, what are they playing? What are they trying to get? Hanzo was definitely something that got incorporated in a lot of those. You're also banning out Chromie against Nano, so that's another non-brainer at the end of the day. But with the Nubarak, there's Greymane, and they go Genji. So I don't really know if the cats were thinking about picking Greymane, but unfortunately that's not available to them anymore. I'm not sure if Team Copium just came into this and said, like, you know what, we're going to pick Greymane away from them. We're just not going to give them Greymane. Personally, I would love if that was actually the thought process behind them. But yeah. And we get Genji. But for the red team, the final pick, ETC and Karrigan. Alright, once again the aggressive Karrigan plays from them. I'm curious if Team Copium can shut that down. That Karrigan ETC comp was a huge problem previously, but the last time that they played it, if I'm not mistaken, they actually used... Was it them? Yeah, it was them. The last time that we've seen this, it was, I believe, with Blaze. So then you have an added stun there, so... Hogger, I mean, can chip in, but still it's not quite the same thing as a Jet Propulsion Connect. And it leaves us with our final pick. Sadath is the one on Garden of Terror that chooses last, and it's Leoric that he picks for the team. Match point for Team Copium, the chance to go to the playoffs directly. Let's jump into Garden of Terror and find out if they can pull it off. Game number 2, it is a match point in the winner bracket final. On the left, Banana Age with Rega. Sadath on Leoric, we got Lopaka on Greymane. Masquerade with Nubarak, and Nano, the real Nano, is playing Agile Dismount on Genji. Over on the right side of the map, it's Captain Rex for the Cats, playing Lucio in the second game of the series. They need to win 2 in a row to make it to the playoffs directly. We got Hirath on ETC, Drakia on Sylvanas, Maitrai is playing Hogga, and we got Taichessa playing on the second Nano account, currently with Karrigan. So, let's see which team is gonna get the head start here. Masquerade and Lopaka slowly arriving to this as well, but all eyes on Karrigan, more or less. The EDC Karrigan combo, if they can properly execute this, they should be able to stun lock a few targets and take them down here. We've seen it before. The question is, can Team Copium shut that down? Because if they can and start farming a few heroes here, then who knows, maybe this is going to be a straight shot for the blue team to the playoffs. Yeah, hitting at least the first connect there with the Impale. But I don't think that anybody... Well, if anybody is going to get an early game kill, I think the chances are that's going to be the Cats if they find somebody on any lane in the bush. Karrigan gets a combo off, ETC comes in, helps out, and all of a sudden it's just absolute carnage. That's why they're playing so aggressively, by the way, also out on the map, of course. They're looking for targets currently. They know that at least this early in the game, they are the ones that have to make a few moves here. With Lucio, they can easily speed between the lanes as well. And yeah, this is going to be the risky play. To try and play into this and make sure that you are not getting murdered. So, Nano is moving in and out, just nibbling away, trying to take a couple of hit points off whenever he has a chance. And actually, they're pressuring Karrigan, so that's not too bad. If you are able to get Karrigan a bit low, then fantastic. It's going to make her think twice about engaging into a battle and actually trying to get those kills. ETC got shut down quickly, but Anubarak also in trouble for a moment. But not too much of an issue. 1 minute mark has obviously now passed. So a few camps are currently being taken. Masquerade is jumping out again, but Rayman in the middle is escorting the Siege Giants through. Lopaka should have actually gotten some notice that he should probably move back here. And still gets caught. So I'm not quite sure if they just didn't tell him in time or what's going on here, but they are chasing him hard, and that's likely going to be a kill. Lopaka still on the move as they're going for the next camp. And does he get out? No freaking way. What? Okay, Lopaka with the escape 2025. That was quite the play. That he escapes is ridiculous. That's big. That's really, really big. Rhaegar didn't go for the last bite. They might have been able to take Sylvanas out here. But that was huge for Greymane. He wasted a lot of their time, and now we have at the bottom of the map, for example, camp pushing in. And they can just go in with everything that they have, start to drop the towers here, start to also drop the gate. That's a great start for Team Copium. Haven't seen a single kill yet, but that was awesome. With all that time wasted chasing, they didn't go for their own camp, so it was just the blue team aiming for them. And yeah, that worked out perfectly. At the top, Leo playing off against Toga now. That's obviously where at least we have one camp. Might try. He might be in trouble if he doesn't get the cooldown back quickly. Rhaegar with the jump, and that's the kill. First blood is in 3.5 minutes into Garden of Terror. So they get the kill, and they drop Lucio as well. That's a double kill for them, an early level 7 to boot. And now they can go for the top side wall. Having the Wolfpack here, Greymane in particular, of course, just chunking away with the auto attacks. And while ETC is now rotating over in order to defend this as best as he can, they're still losing a lot of ground in that situation. So, great start for Team Copium. A couple of structures destroyed, the walls slowly falling. They could go for the first seat as well, but they're trying to delay this a bit further. Harrigan hasn't had the impact that they had in previous games. So, yeah, couldn't do anything with her. Stuncom is just not properly locking in, and especially Masquerade has been juking out a few of them earlier in the game. So, yeah, that helped too. But they're getting the hits in again. Masquerade is, so far, doing well down here at the bottom of the map, just protecting all of this as best as he can. And then we got Lopaka sitting all the way up at the top. Banana H jumping in as well, and they can, well, they won't obviously as the Siege Giants straight up on the fort, but the rotation is now already on its way, and this time, yeah, there's no denying that they are going to shut that down early. Captain Rex is also sitting on the side, so not really a big issue. But the Siege still up. They haven't even defended or taken the defenders out. Now that level 10 is slowly creeping a bit closer, or level 9, they are starting to make a move for this one. First seed is claimed, so they get the lead on the objective. As Greymane is just simply jumping over the debris and is going for the next tower. Genji, though, gets caught and killed, and that is the first kill of the cats. So, now with Sylvanas, they have the chance to repay the blue team with some structures destroyed in the middle. Lopaka gets the camp. Genji will be back in a few seconds, but this is exactly what they want. Oh, Sylvanas! No, not like this! That timing of the wave was really unfortunate. Yeah, they engage on Sylvanas, they take her down, that's level 10 in their hands. The bullet for Greymane, both teams with heroic abilities as the cats get theirs as well. But that backfired very, very quickly. Sylvanas thought that they could be a little bit cute there, and they were proven quite wrong. So, no chance in that moment. 3 kills to 1, as already mentioned. And in the meantime, yeah, it's just all about the next seed, which is in the territory of the cats. Not a problem for them to grab this one. Mind control once again. We got Hogga with 8,800 damage. Genji and Leo are battling for top damage on the other team. And we are also getting some action on the bottom fort. So Masquerade is protecting the player on the side, but Nano went a little bit too deep and gets killed as a result. Yep, jumped straight into them, even with the X-Strike, wasn't able to get out. And now Nubara gets locked into. Great move by Rhaegar with the Ancestral. It just simply wasn't enough to save the Cockroach. So Masquerade is gone, and that's 3 kills to 3. So there's that momentum again. Yeah, and now you have the Sylvanas factor, of course. Khaldor is trying to take the camp, will probably need at least a little bit of assistance here. Nuburak, for example, is back in 3 seconds, so if they all move back down to the bottom of the map, we might even try to have a say in this, but help is near, and they take the camp. Greymane can pretty easily take this one out. Well, can start taking out. There's another seed coming up, so they have to decide whether or not they want to go for this one. If they just let that one slide. It is going to be the second one, if they grab it. A couple of beetles already for Nuburak here, starting to be annoying. But they force Khaldor back, and Nuburak is trying to channel, and gets interrupted by ETC. Karrigan is still up at the top. There's Leo with the Entomb. Gets the body block as well, and all that they wanted to do here was buy enough time for Nuburak to get the channel, and that's exactly what they did. Khaldor low and dead. Nano trying to redeem himself and is able to get out, but Karrigan got cocooned. The mosh pit, baby, and Nuburak gets hit hard and killed. Beautiful double kill. Greymane also dead, and they even tried to now go for Genji again, but that one was solid. I mean, ETC mosh pit straight into a Karrigan combo, and then afterwards they go for the second target. So yeah, this is working exceptionally well for the red team. Greymane and Nuburak both taken out. Now the lead in experience for the Cats. And a lead in talents too for a moment. Bell tower attack at the bottom, not successful yet. Karrigan looking for the combo, but they are going to get the bell tower. There is a flank coming though. Nice Entomb again, but they're simply moving out of this. Karrigan, on the other hand, is not going to be able to move away from that. So she goes down. It's honestly, if you're honest about it, it's just they're trading kills the entire time. Karrigan goes down, double kill on the other side. They retaliate, get a few kills there. The big difference, at least for the time being, is the extra fort that was taken out and the slight lead in experience that the Cats now have. So as well as the early game has actually gone for Team Copium, the Cats are now making the better plays. All the way up at the top. Still a little bit of action with the minion wave, so you have to be careful. But this is a set of Garden Terrors. Wasn't even contested at all. Not even a little bit. So Garden Terrors are now in the house. And let's see how much exactly Team Copium can pull off with this. Because Nuburak is already moving in. Khaldor realizes that he has to back off very quickly. We have some action also in the middle of the map, but there's only Genji pushing. So these are still early Garden Terrors. And the top fort will of course fall. But the question is more so how much damage is going to be done on other lanes of the map. Here in the middle, not too much. Down at the bottom of the map, they got some solid damage in. But you also have the Siege Giants that were helping in the defense. Now that Leo is there though, they might be able to do a little bit more, especially with Nano joining the fun as well. Top side, yeah, gonna take this one out. So I guess it cost them nearly 2 forts at the end of the day. Yeah, Nano immediately back out. This time they're not gonna get it. 15.5 on both sides, and the blue team is actually still pushing this. They opened the wall on the keep up. That keep is taking damage, not a whole lot, but again, it matters. ETC, Khaldor is coming in. They're getting a cocoon on Lucio. The shockwave, absolutely in Narnia. My try, yeah, that's a high I need glasses play right there. This was a cry for help for sure. So, misses the shockwave. Full on Narnia move here on the ult. And yeah, that Siege Giant is still a bit of a pain. Lucio is the one that finally deals with it. But keep damage. Every single bit matters. A rock or two. Doesn't matter. It's important. Now, with level 16 talents, we have Epic Enter for Nuburak. He's going to try to epically enter the opponent's backline and get some decent stuns in so that they can take him out. Kenji, he's going to get it eventually, but at this point I think he will have to back off for a little bit longer before he is coming in again to try and take the fort. Yeah, Olga's already there, fort is gone, and Nano gets out. So yeah, I think I'm chasing it. Now, while the fight down here is starting to shape up, We have Anubrak jumping out. Mind control missed. The Karrigan combo didn't though. And the Ancestral is there right away from Rhaegar, saving the day for Masquerade. As Leo is just ghosting in and out when full Royal Focus build, of course. But yeah, they take the camp. So they take the camp here. There's the Entomb, but Leorki is dead, activating his trade. There is still a camp at the top side and in the mid lane as well, though, for the Cats. So there are a lot of mercenaries currently pushing for structures, and Sylvanas is more than happy to help them out a little bit. Come in, disable all of the defenses, and get her piece. 21,000 damage for Sylvanas. Another hit from Anubrak, hitting 3. There's the Mosh Pit, baby! And kill number 3 against Anubrak. They were hoping for the counter kill, not gonna happen. That's a double. Genji is gone, so is Anubrak, and Leorki dies for the second time in this game. Well, it seems like momentum swings in this series are just the order, the norm. Because now the Cats are just crushing this one. They're coming in, swinging here. That is the Sylvanas power that you unleash whenever you win big team fights. She comes in, siege giants galore, and wham! That's a keep gone. Core is not in the cards. Death timers are just too low. But that's now 2 forts destroyed and 1 keep destroyed. So the leading experience has been extended to 1.5 levels. Not great when you're playing for Team Copium. That's definitely not what you were hoping for in that situation. So as it stands, Rhaegar is the only one on the blue team that hasn't died yet. On the red team, it is ETC, which is actually pretty impressive when you ask me. So yeah, it's the money pick. It has to be the money pick. I mean, it's just what it is. He's the only one with the money pick here, and he's the only one that can ride a mount, and at least is still alive. Anubrak gets wrecked again. Masquerade is dead for the 4th time now. Rhaegar was trying, but Banana Age this time was just a little bit too slow. And now Greymane is dead too. Whenever they start losing fights and try to back off, it's nearly impossible. You're up against Lucio, he's speeding up everyone, and the entire team is just so mega fast and has so much CC, slow stuns, that dealing with it is nearly impossible. So the Royal Focus attempt is going to try and save the core now. We have also a keep about to fall at the top right side, so if they can save the core, that would go a long way, and they might be able to. That top side keep is likely gonna fall, and the core is so far defended. Level 20 is now in. The gap in experience, you can't just simply argue that one away, but they are buying time for Anubrak, they're buying time for Greymane, and both of them are still up, and the top keep is gone. So the Cats just took a keep out, and then they lost one in the same play. Yeah. Somebody is going to be a little bit mad about this. The problem for the blue team is just simply this gap in experience. Crazy. Like, they have to bridge 1.5 levels still before they can do anything. And now the seed is going to be gathered, and that is Garden Terrors. So now you have to fight off an opponent's objective while you are down the Storm Talent. Yeah, good luck with that. That's not going to be easy at all. Big difference here in hero experience in particular and mercenary experience. With Hogger, we talked about it in the draft already, just excels at this. But yeah, they're defending as best as they can in the middle. This is going to be the big push for the core again. We're not even on level 19 yet for Team Copium, so I'm not quite sure if they can actually stop this. 16 is in. Well, sorry, we're 16 minutes into the game. Nice Entomb at least, that's not too bad. And Leo is just trying to ghost in and out with Royal Focus, so that helps. The defense strong. They weren't able to go for kills. Now the defense down at the bottom of the map. They have level 19. But what about kills? And Anuber wrecked. He's gone. There's the mosh pit. That is it. Bye-bye. This is game. Bye-bye. Now we have 5 kills to 14. It's too much to handle. We are going the distance once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go straight to game number 3. Of course we do. The winner bracket final in Group B. Well done. Glorious victory for the Cats here. They are able to turn it on Team Copium. and force the final map in the best of 3 series that will decide which one of the teams moves on to the playoffs. 5-man team wipe. GG. Well played. Okay, this is the 3rd time that we're jumping into this very same draft, so at least the beginning of the draft should be a little bit faster. We're heading into game number 3 of the series. The problem was that initially Team Copium picked the hero they can't pick because it was played already. So then all of a sudden people jumped out of the lobby, restarted the lobby, then somebody else dropped out. So now we are going for the 3rd attempt, 3rd time's the charm. Let's see if that works out. Cho'Gall still gets banned against the cats even though they completed the bounty already. Chromie against Copium, that doesn't really shock either. You have Nano on the team, so obviously you don't want to give him Chromie here. But we'll see if one of the teams goes for a bounty. I've already said that I have my doubts that it's going to happen in this series. We're down to the final map, and whichever team wins here makes it into the playoffs. The loser drops down into the losers bracket. We're starting things off with Junkrat, Hanzo and Anduin as a quick answer. And this is where things got interesting. So we had the Samuro pick, and there goes Ana. Alright, so they misclicked previously and picked the hero that was already played. 20 heroes have, of course, been played on the previous 2 maps in total, which means they can't be played again. And with that, we're now looking at completely different comps here. But Samuro was banned oftentimes on the 3rd position by the cats, and this time they are just not able to ban this out because the blue team realized, hey, if we really want to have Samuro, we have to lock him in a bit earlier than that. So now they do that before the next ban is available. Now, on Infernal Shrines, this is going to be interesting to see what Samuro can pull off and how much pressure he can also get onto those side lanes to try and take the structures out. Still get Marthael banned, so a triple front line with Ana, Nano boosting Tormented Souls, for example. There's not going to be a thing here. Could go do some wild stuff. Give me that Uther main tank with the Divine Shield, and then Marthael, Tormented Souls boosted, plus the Divine Shield on top of him. Rips everybody on the shrine apart. That would be kind of funny. But, well, now that we have the final picks coming in, so far at least, it doesn't look like we're going to get a bounty. Again, I personally would be shocked right now. I don't think that 20 heroes being unavailable is enough to make any of the bounty choices attractive enough for these 2 teams, given how they've been playing so far, to say like, okay, we're going to take a bigger risk here and accept the handicap for the all-deciding map in the series. So, Tracer plus Urel for the side lane. I mean, Urel is going to be quite nice for them. Tracer with a light bomb engage, thanks to Anduin, is also going to be super powerful, of course. So, you have that on top of it. You can get the light bomb out, can maybe follow it up with the Hanzo arrow. Get some good hits in here and then the damage. But over for the blue team, we have, well, Tychus and Varian. Alright, so we get the Odin transformation. And we have Varian for Masquerade. It's not going to be Twin Blades, I'm sorry. This is going to be some taunt action. They executed earlier in the previous series already with Tyrande. But last but not least, for the final map in the best of 3 here in the group stage, in the winner bracket final, it's Garrosh for the cats. Ladies and gentlemen, the final map, we are going the distance once again. Infernal Shrines is the map between Copium and the cats. Game number 3, the final map. Who goes to the playoffs and who drops down into the lower bracket? This game has been a little bit cursed. This is the 4th time now to host all of this, but here we are. Banana on Ana. You don't want to have Banana on Ana when you're going up against Banana, because Banana's Ana is pretty bananas, but everybody knows that Banana's Ana is pretty bananas. This is why a lot of people ban Ana against Banana. Now, Tychus is played by Lopaka. We got Nano on Junkrat, Sadas on Samuro, and Masquerade on Varian. Over on the right side of the map in the meantime, we got Drakia on Tracer, Captain Rex on Anduin, Herath on Garrosh, Nano, aka Tychessa, this is like the fake Nano, on Hanzo, and Maitrai on Urel. So, let's go! We get a grenade build for Ana. And, well, here's that. We still need for Tychus to pick his talent. I mean, honestly, Tychus holding back his talent is a little bit on the weird side. He goes for a typical build with grenades. I was just looking at this, was thinking, hey, are you really gonna go for an auto attack style all of a sudden? that would be pretty insane. So, yep. But yeah, anyways, we have now all the way up at the top. Samuro starting to push the lane out a little bit, getting the assist from Lopaka, who's just sitting in the shadows here and waiting for anybody to step out so he can get some easy damage in, which they're now trying. My Trash just shuts it down, pushes him back, is like, out of there. Get the hell out of this one. Now, we got the Tracer rounds in on level 1, and the rotation with the money pick play up towards the top. Hireth already on a mission here. Oink, oink. And a really nice and safe rotation from Lopaka as well. So, yeah, that was a good one. If he moves straight back down from the top lane, then he gets caught, maybe not killed, but will at least suffer a couple of hit point losses. And you can tell from the movements of both of the teams currently that they are very, very cautious on this one. So, yeah, nobody wants to risk too much here. And the blue team, for example, they're looking at the fight at the bottom of the map and they're just saying like, nah. Nope. Not a thing. Not gonna do that without taunt, without any of the tools that we need. Not risking this. So they just give the camp up. And for the blue team, I guess it's a little bit annoying. They went for their own camp first, and now that the priorities have shifted just slightly, the Cats walk away with 2 of the mercenary camps. It's a tiny leading experience. Again, nothing insane, nothing crazy, but it will give you a bit of a boost, at least in the early stages of the game. So, for Samuro, we're getting Deflection on level 4, and we get, of course, Taunt. The camps still push through the middle. First objective is to spawn at the bottom of the map. It's going to be our number 1. Indomitable from Garrosh and the Hand of Freedom. Even without the American team. That is, by the way, still waiting in the lower bracket for the next opponent. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Americans are going to do once that we are focusing on the second day of Group B. The pew 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 from Ana and Tigers just slowly starting to take this out as both of the teams want to, of course, set up a shaman camps at the top lane, create some added pressure. Might force somebody to rotate away or give you some damage on the forwards. I mean, in this case, we don't have a global in the game. Most of them were already played. Pretty much all of them are already played. Now that I think about it. There's a couple pseudo-globals, I suppose, that you could have technically taken. Technically, we have one with Samuro. Illidan with Hunt would have been also a bounty that teams could have gone for if they really were just looking for someone that can pseudo-global the map a bit. I mean, we've seen that on Tower of the Doom, for example, by other teams in this tournament. Very even on the Shrine minions as well. Level 7s, that's something that both of them are aiming for. But who takes the first Punisher here? Well, this might be the first kill. Tigers is in trouble for just a second. Varian moved in though and taunted the damage dealer. That was a nice little move. Not only is everybody on the red team now mega low, but also they weren't able to get that kill on Tigers, which is clearly what they were hoping for. So 35, 37, and the red team grabs it. They get the frozen Punisher. And now it's just a question if it procs the jump before. And yep, that's exactly what we're seeing, because there's still a couple of Samuro copies around. You have an early level 7 talent, not that they can really use it here, because the window is so small that the Cats are claiming their own. They lost Urel, but they're still going to be fine here. They're going to get some extra damage in on this. Jumps over still, but yeah, so far so good. Some damage on the wall. It's minimum damage. Not even the wall falls. So yeah, as far as first objectives go, this one wasn't really all that amazing. Weren't able to do a whole lot here. We still have the Khazra camps, of course, sitting tight and now getting claimed. That gets some extra experience that they can grab quickly. And Hamza also still jumping this one out. I'm more curious about what Samuro is going to do in the long run here, how much of an impact he's going to have on these sidelines. And I guess also how they're going to play around Tigers in the game. Because when it comes to this big CC trains that they used earlier, they just don't have the same amount here. You can still bully people around with Urel a little bit, and of course you have Garrosh. Now with Anduin as a potential follow-up, I mean, you can make some pretty neat plays here. But the first fight was leaning more towards Copium for a long time. And, well, now there's leading experience also. 14 Copium. This is obviously another problem that we'll have to deal with eventually. Anti-healer is already in. Tracer. If that grenade... Okay, the grenade is a bit too late and too short. But, whew, that was clutch, my friend. Drag here. I mean, the frame-perfect escape, basically. He makes it out of the fight, but this couldn't have been any closer. If that grenade hits a little bit sooner, the heal is not there, and a little bit longer, then that is a kill. And here's level 10 abilities now. Illusion Master, and they don't even hesitate. They know that they have the gap. They have the half-level lead, so it's just instantly everybody's ready at the bottom of the map. Snap choice, bam, go for Tychus, and start to make some moves. And Lopaka nearly dies in the process, but they open that wall up at least. It's always funny to me when you're seeing someone like Garrosh come in and just throw Odin around. I really feel that at this point, you shouldn't come in as Garrosh and be able to throw Odin. It's already one thing if you throw somebody like Stitches, who is definitely more on the chunky side. But if you can't throw Deathwing, then you shouldn't be able to throw Odin. That's just my personal opinion. So, yeah, just feels wrong. On so many levels, I don't even know what to say. Yrel hasn't made a choice yet. Are we actually getting zone control? Nah. They're always teasing. They're always teasing with a couple of the choices, and they're just simply deciding that they're not going to go for it after all. Feels a little bit mean, to be honest. Junkrat, they want him. Yeah. They were hoping that they can flank with Garrosh. They can't. But that would have been the goal here. Now, with Lopaka at the top left, they have now both level 10 abilities. We are, again, too far away from level 13 for it to play a role here. But we now have Samuro and 24 stacks on his level 1. Top right, the camp is about to be claimed too. Both of the teams, as usual, going straight up for those shamans as they are attempting to establish a little bit of top lane dominance to get those shamans onto the fort. Haven't seen the structure fall yet. This is going to be the second objective of the game, and bam, Odin is back up. Let's go. And Lopaka sitting fairly safe. Far away from Garrosh. There's just a bit of outside poke from them now. Yrel is now making in. Here comes the play from Hanzo. And there comes the attack against Junkrat from Yrel. Massively well executed. It follows up with an additional kill on Tracer, but they really want Tychus, and that's what they're aiming for. And bam, once more Yrel with the pancake play as they are getting their kill. The red team is so mega low, it's actually ridiculous. And Samuro just cannot get that kill. So they still have to bring this one back on the shrine itself and try and claim the objective. But more kills would definitely go a long way for them. Mitra is focused right away. Is moving in. They're going for Sedat, and they're trying to also take down Varian. But it turns on Yrel quickly, and she just dies. I mean, Yrel just went in and died. And now the blue team is following that up with a kill on Anduin. So after they initially looked a little bit tricky in the fight, they now claim the Punisher. And they're getting kill after kill. They go for Tracer and drop her 2. That's 3 heroes down. So now we have level 13 in the hands of Team Copium. And they have the Punisher. And this is gonna be a problem in the middle of the map, and a huge one at that. There's nobody to proc the jump, so this is gonna destroy the entire wall easily. Garrosh is there, jump is proc, they're following it up with a taunt, and he just committed Sudoku. Honorable Subaru by Garrosh. I mean, what else do you call this? Well, check this one out. He comes in, there's the jump procced intentionally, and then Varian just says like, yup, I got this, comes in and takes him down. So, yeah, now they go for the next taunt, and Nano gets away. I mean, good for them, but that was them already struggling there. The wall down here is destroyed too, and the lead in experience is now just crazy. A 2-level gap between them. And of course, on top of that, the first fort has been destroyed. They're going for more camps, and yeah. We've seen a lot of... Oh, that arrow. Oh, yep, that goes nowhere. But they take Ana down. Ana is destroyed. Samuro is still sitting at the top lane, by the way. While they are fighting this one out at the bottom of the map, Samuro is just going for the next fort. So a couple of donations coming in from Team Copium. But again, they at least take the fort out. So that is 2 forts destroyed. And Yrel... yeah. careful. One grenade and you're toast. You know it being toast. Nana's alone at the bottom of the map. Yeah, Garrosh is now slowly coming in. Should not be able to close that gap too easily. So, while they are focusing on the fort at the bottom of the map, Samuro is already eyeing the wall at the top side and is slowly making plays there. The level 16 talents will give another power spike to Team Copium. So they're going to grab that. And yeah, the top bit of damage was done. Nothing insane. But there's still a 1 level advantage for the blue team. So, as that stands, we have Garrosh lift from the knees. They're still throwing people around. The damage output with 27,000 for Junkrat is it's not really all that crazy, but he is top damage in the game. Followed by Tychus. Third in is Hanzo, who's the top damage dealer for the Cats. And Samuro is again sitting on that side lane. This is going to be a thing. He's going to start taking some... How often is this going to happen, by the way? Finally, a little bit of pew 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 from Ana, as she's going for the big hits, and they are going to get another kill. Snipe it, baby! Oh yeah! Ana with the big snipes right now and a double kill. They go for the fort at the bottom as Samuro goes for the top side wall. But Ana definitely lining them up here and getting big kills for the team. As we have now bot lane, forts destroyed, all the forts are gone. And the momentum train is hitting hard. It's 8 kills, 2-4. And yeah, with level 16 around the corner for the Cats, they will at least be able to fight for the next objective on eye level. But they're losing a lot of ground. And now the camp is about to be stolen away from them at the top 2. They're not going to come in for this in time. So, yeah, topside camp is already taken. They could technically now try and go for their own, but the most important part, of course, from the perspective of the blue team is that the red team can't take the camp for themselves. So, not enough time to go to the top left and grab your own, but that's already a big step. And as it turns out, with the keep in the middle taking damage, up at the top, they can push this out, and they will. So the red team is fully down at the bottom of the map, focused on getting the objective, as Samuro is saying, you know what, I like that keep, that's a nice keep. How about I take that keep down? This is a nice keep, it would be a shame if something happens to it. And the red team doesn't even react, they're not hearthing back or anything. They just want to go for the attack down here. Big arrow, can they get a kill? Doesn't look like it. Garrosh comes in and now they can go for Tychus. So Tychus is gone. So is the top side keep, by the way. But Masquerade falls as well. And now the big question is how much momentum can they get here? So the keep is destroyed. Sadath would love nothing more than push for the core here. But this is where Maitrai seems to draw the line. So he just says, alright, I got this now. I'm going to defend this. Punisher is obviously going over to the Cats now. Blue team was close though. They were 34 stacks. 34 stacks, they nearly got it, but they can't just simply int into this to make a move here. So the Arcane Punisher is going to give them some value, but while that still plays out, we have now Samuro pushing through the middle. At the bottom of the map, there's also Camp and Catapult still here. Urel can't really do anything in this point, and it's going to get tricky because level 20 is very close for Team Copium. That will help them with the defense a lot. And Samuro, as I said before, he doesn't even care. Samuro still has 27,000 damage, which is nice. Anduin just died. What? How did Anduin die? I didn't even catch that. 163,000 damage on Samuro. But yeah, my bad. I missed the Anduin death completely. I have absolutely no idea what just killed him. No clue. He was killed somehow by, I mean, either by a tower or a minion, but I was focused on the minimap, checking the Samuro shenanigans, preparing for the big push and fight from the Cats that now is not coming because Anduin is gone. So Junkrat, I mean, it's the only explanation that Junkrat made a play here. They don't have any other displacement. So Junkrat apparently saving the day for the red team and being able to isolate off all the heroes that he could have gone for. Anduin, which is absolutely crucial for a push at this point. So, yeah, no other displacement on the team. Had to be Junkrat. Good for him. Now Urel's gone. Didn't even pull her ult. And they blow Anduin up again. Apparently Junkrat is Anduin's kryptonite here. And with the keep at the top lane gone, the one in the middle is going to disappear in a second as well. So Yep, off we go. Masquerade is about to go down. Maybe not. Turns it on Tracer. That's game. That's just game. That's game right there. They got level 20 talents. They got everything that they need. It looked like maybe the Cats can do something with that Punisher that they got for themselves. And then Junkrat makes the big play on Anduin, drops him, and they turn it onto the red team. Go for the core, take it out. Samuro already with all of the prep work, eliminating the keep at the top, eliminating the wall in the middle, and now this is it. Copia moves on. They move on to the playoffs, and the three-legged Cats drop down into the losers bracket. Nicely done. Congratulations to the blue team. GG and well played.